And now we have a hotline from Margot in the United Kingdom.
I wanted to share that I have been keeping an eye on spaceweatherlive.com, and I noticed that around the time that we became anxious about the July 5th tsunami that was predicted by Ryo Tatsuki and numerous others, which was addressed by our beloved Ultimate Master when she said that we could even avoid the tsunami in Japan, in the message, the simple little screw that can save our home planet, the solar flare energy was surprisingly low, mostly B class. When the time of the event passed, and thus we started to feel that it was not going to happen, the graph rose into C class and has stayed there. Master has once mentioned that people became more God-fearing and their souls became better around the time of a forecast typhoon, but then afterwards they went back to their original state. Master has warned how to stay safe and to pray for the people of Japan in early July. I wonder if many people who were afraid because of this prophecy prayed sincerely, and this improved the atmosphere of the planet a little, thus meaning that the three most powerful could save us from that terrible disaster. But now that the predicted disaster seems less likely, the prayers have stopped, and I presume that is what has caused the solar flaring to increase again. In Master's conversation with the King of the Sun, she said that the King told her that the prayers do reduce the karma of the planet, and thus the amount of damage that must be done to Earth. It seems then that the amount of solar flaring is directly proportional to the God-fearing goodness in the hearts of humans. Of course, we would have been burned up by now if it wasn't for the green shield that Master and the Peace People placed around our planet, and it's odd to see on the space weather graphs that things were very quiet on the Sun around the time that we were expecting a very big disaster and thus praying very hard. May we all pray plentifully, as it would appear that the three most powerful can make good use of it to save us from the most terrible disasters. Dear Supreme Master TV team, as I mentioned in my previous Heartline, I have been keeping an eye on the space weather news and have previously noticed that the amount of solar flaring seems to be directly related to the humility, repentance, prayerfulness, and respect for God that humans are practicing at any given time. I noticed this around the time of the July prophecies when we feared for the Pacific region, and the improved atmosphere of prayerfulness and God-loving caused the solar flaring to reduce to B class as it had been mostly in the C class. When the world realized that the colossal disaster was not going to happen, the prayerfulness reduced and the satellite graphs increased to mainly show C class solar flare activity, with the regular spikes into M class and some of them even come close to X class, which can be dangerous. Even the M class caused electricity blackouts in 2 whole countries prior to the protective green shield that Master has bestowed upon the planet. On